Alright, let's go talk to Hieronymus.
It's about time.
It is about time. That took way too long. What do we have here? A Drusian acolyte, a couple of Drusian acolytes, and pilgrims. God Emperor, can you hear me? If you can, take me as quickly as you can. The pilgrim? Give me the strength to live until the end of my shift. Just a little bit of strength. Okay, Hieronymus, what's your deal? The man with a face so drawn it appears to be made of nothing but skin and bone fixes his unblinking bird-like eyes on you. The priest's simple black clothes have next to no adornments, and they do nothing to mask his unhealthy gauntness. In a cracked voice, he says, "The Emperor protects." We know who he is, but we're going to ask anyway, just for him to introduce himself. Who are you? I am Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso, as I'm called, head of the Drusian mission and possibly the last hope for the wayward souls that inhabit the fringe forsaken by our master. The Emperor protects, Reverend. Throw him a couple of coins. A holy man, are you? Here. Some alms for you. No, the Emperor protects, Reverend. But he protects only those who are pure of heart. Do you think yourself one of them? Be leery of this conviction of yours. Many who have risen to the pinnacle of faith have fallen from it, into the embrace of pride most degenerate. And you must be the young von Valentius. That name carries weight, and it's a burdensome one, for its reputation suggests that Theodora encumbered it with many a transgression. I wonder, will you seek to shed them, or will you carry them onward, picking them along the way like ripe fruit and savoring their sweet poison? How do you know who I am? You're saying Theodore was a transgressor. Make the sign of the Holy Aquila. I put my faith in the Emperor. Probably going to choose that. Hopefully we get to go through most of these. Keep up this attitude and you'll be featuring in my next confession. Ha! Reticle. Have no doubt about me. I'm a complete reprobate, an inveterate miscreant whose existence is an affront to the Emperor. Ha! How do you know who I am? The Emperor has blessed me with an acute hearing, and the people did the rest. How many members of your crew do you think came to confess the moment they arrived in port? How long do you suppose it took me to piece together the truth from their words? The priest's voice is rasping and harsh, but you still managed to pick up a strange change in tone. There is something hidden behind this shift in his speech, something that he did not consider necessary to explain. Huh. You're saying Theodora was a transgressor? A woman of great gifts, but few considered virtues to be one of them. People whispered that power had corrupted her, made her believe that she was entitled to anything she wanted. It is known that she showed cordiality to xenos, broke taboos, and violated dogmas. Then again, so do nearly all rogue traders. Rogue traders are the Emperor's anointed. I act at his command, as evidenced by his signature on my warrant. Basically, he's like, oh yeah, they violated all these sort of dogmas and whatnot, and it's like, but I can't, because I'm a rogue trader. Therefore, everything I do is sanctioned by the Emperor. And did he grant it to you personally? The Emperor has entrusted his servants with the future of humanity, but people are too weak and flawed to prove themselves worthy of his trust. Only suffering can cleanse us, but we fear it, and thus remain sullied. Alright, we'll make the sign of the Aquila. I put my faith in the Emperor. He gives you a scrutinizing look, then his tone softens. Well then, be twice as diligent, for this sector will seize any chance to test your faith. That we know. He looks to Sister Argenta, who is standing nearby, and his voice softens slightly. Greetings, sister. I congratulate you on your return. Was your pilgrimage fruitful? It was, Reverend. Let it be known to you that Theodora von Valentius' ship was attacked by servants of the archenemy, who appall the heart of any righteous soul, she says, nearly hissing with fury, and not all of them met a fitting end. Some fled, and more than that, their blasphemous words clearly pointed to this attack being part of a larger design. Reverend Hieronymus, I wish to join the esteemed rogue trader's crew and help protect the von Valentius dynasty from the forces of the archenemy. I'm divesting myself of the responsibility of guarding the footfall reliquary. Wow, can you do that? Just choose yourself that you are divesting yourself of your responsibility? I would add something to that if doing so weren't beneath me. Wow, that's bold. Sister Argenta stood by my side during the assault on the ship, and I could use her assistance going forward. Say nothing, or frankly, I have no need of Sister Argenta's escort. No, she stood by my side during the assault on the ship, and I could use her assistance going forward. Hieronymus nods in thought. Follow the call of your soul, sister. The footfall reliquary will be preserved even without your contribution, as it was in the years preceding your arrival. Hieronymus smiles sadly. I know what it is that calls you to follow the rogue trader, Sister Argenta. You seek combat, for it helps you to forget how hollow and worthless our lives truly are. It offers the illusion of meaning. Perhaps you will relinquish this illusion one day. Perhaps you will die before that day comes. Regardless, I wish you luck on your new path. This guy is a major downer. But before you start on a path towards your new destiny, I have a request to make of you and your companion. Many among my flock are from the poorest, most disposed people on Footfall. They brought me troubling news from Footfall's shadow quarters. In the darkest corners where the liege wardens do not venture, taint has taken root. Footfall is consumed by profanity, but even here, true heresy, serving the archenemy, is a rarity. The cultists who now dwell in the shadow quarters mark their abodes with a sun inscribed in blue and gold, and perform strange rituals in secret. The weak find solace in believing these reports to be rumors, but I well know that evil lurks all around us, and I wish to see retribution. A sun inscribed in blue and gold. Could be something to do with the final dawn or aurora. I come across heresy surprisingly often these days. Why don't you go to the Liege with these matters? We'll verify the rumors. I come across heresy surprisingly often these days. Indeed, dark times are upon us, and wretched souls grow ever more eager to embrace heresy, both on Footfall and elsewhere. Its foul buds are coming to bloom. Troubling news is arriving from many planets. There are whispers of wicked things taking place on Kiava Gamma, and just recently a transport ship by the name of Navica, teeming with refugees, arrived on Footfall from Winterscale's realm. The world was stricken with blasphemous sedition, and such was its severity that they had to flee to save themselves. The Liege refused to accept them, and so they headed for Foulstone, a desolate cloister of the righteous. It was wise of them not to linger in this den of vileness. Why don't you go to the Liege with this matter? I do not walk the paths pleasing the Liege, Hieronymus frowns. Vladim is weak and riddled with worms on the inside. He seeks to please his Kasbalika masters, those peddlers of relics of the unholy xenos. Kasbalika was the crime syndicate, yeah. We will verify this rumor, Reverend Hieronymus. With great pleasure. Argenta lays a hand on her weapon. I almost wish for the rumors to be true. My heart yearns to battle some heretics. We will have plenty of heretics for you to battle, Argenta. Come on. This is where I bid you goodbye, sister. Noble Ignatius, is there more you wish to ask me about? What are you doing on Footfall? What am I doing in this den of blasphemers, pagans, and the vilest souls, you mean to say? Well, Footfall is the first and last stop in the Koronus Expanse. It is the point of arrival for those who have just started on their path, and it is also where those who are reaching its very end return. Their souls wounded and bleeding. I embrace both the former and the latter, so that they may cast an honest eye over their impurity. Furthermore, rumors from across the entire sector amass on Footfall. If I hear crewmen whispering about a reclaimed shrine world, or expressing desire to carry the Emperor's light into the darkness among the stars, I help my flock in their sacred duty. Devoted trailblazers need assistance, both spiritual and material, tools and equipment, even garments and simple everyday items. Anything that might help pilgrims on their long journey. And during the first days of the harsh frontier life is worth its weight in gold to us. May any help you offer to their efforts of gathering such things be blessed. The path of true believers leads into darkness, to search for worlds that have lost his radiance, steeped in depravity. Blessed are the deeds of those, this guy talks a ton, who give themselves into the void and warp in hopes that their actions might bring light into the darker reaches of the expanse and deliver a previously barren world into Imperium service. Hieronymus is silent for a few seconds, and all the more bitter is the realization that not all brave souls who succeed in their mission Not all brave souls will succeed in their mission. Footfall still awaits news from the Wasteland Wayfarer, an ancient ark of a ship headed for distant stars. Her last astropathic message was sent from beyond the Cineris Malefactum, and the stars have kept her fate secret since. Okay, so there's a new rumor we can check out if we're ever in that direction. I bear another darker duty. The Expanse is filled with the tainted creations of unholy heretics. These insidious objects are a danger to the soul, but I know what to do with them. Should you on your travels come upon dangerous, corrupted objects, bring them to me, and the reward for your vigilance will be even more generous. The Drusian mission has much to share with the rogue trader. Is it true that the pirate Dens Bilardo was your parishioner, and that he endowed the Drusians with donations? It is. Over the course of his life, that reprobate had burdened his soul with many vile and egregious acts. His confessions were akin to a grand catechism, listing humankind's imminent vices and enormities. It was also the more painful for him to realize that of all the heinous acts he had committed, not one had been forgotten by the Emperor. Dens Bilardo was afraid of death, and that which would await him after. He hoped to atone for his misdeeds, yearned to convince, if not the Emperor, then himself at least, that he had been more than a conscious speck of malignant mold his entire life. He deserves a chance at redemption? Yes. I hope his soul now burns as bright as his victims did. To accept charity from a pirate and murderer is unbecoming of a servant of the Emperor. Sentimental old man trying to buy absolution for his tumultuous youth. How pathetic. Or I see. I think everyone deserves a chance at redemption. They won't all get it. They might not make the right steps for it. But they deserve a chance. And it is true for miscreants above all others. The greater the transgression, the more miraculous and wondrous the repentance. I'd like to look at what the followers of St. Drusus have to offer me. So he's probably a merchant that we can trade with. Can we move our conversation to a place more befitting people of our rank? I have no need of that. Questions about faith. Tell me about yourself. I have questions about faith. My servant planted the seed of faith in the heart of another rogue trader once. Incendia Corda. Perhaps you are destined to become my second fledgling. Tell me more about the Emperor. You think it is so easy to put into words his essence and splendor? The Emperor is the perfect deity that reads our hearts and grants us his light. He led humanity out of the darkness and horror. He created our great home. He experienced torment and pain, which only made him stronger. That is a lesson to us all. Purity is not to be found at the bottom of the dirtiest hive or in the golden palaces, but only among the ranks of those who suffer. Argentis silently makes the sign of the Aquila, her bright eyes burning with an unyielding flame. This priest speaks the truth, as a wise spinner would. Gabella uses her blade to reopen a recently healed ritual wound on her hand. As we accept the Undying One's blessing, so must we accept pain, for it brings us closer to him. Koronus looks at Gabella calmly, without fear that you have seen in many, and says quietly, "Spinner of the blood-spun web, people have mentioned your cult to me in their confessions. My mission does not approve of your barbaric ways, which too often cross the line, and yet we respect the depth of your devotion to him." I don't agree with your methods, but I agree that you are devoted. What is the proper way to worship the Emperor? It's weird to be asking this, but it's also providing lore that myself as a player might not necessarily know completely. Pray to him, destroy his enemies, touch not their poisoned gifts, cast aside all doubt, and be vigilant against the weak souls beside you. When you see a sign of taint, burn it away without pity. Pain is good, it tears the crust of vileness from one's soul. And remember that if you see no fault in you or around you, then you are not being diligent enough in your search. Or you are being too lenient on yourself, averting your eyes from the truth. Yeah, there's no possibility that you might actually be holy. If you're not seeing fault, it's that you're just not searching enough, because there are problems with you and the people around you. Guaranteed. The Emperor's servants, who are they? You speak of the Adeptus Ministorum? Well, these heralds of his word hold great power. Every priest, myself included, is part of its hierarchy, and the ecclesiarchy possesses the unique right to judge what is virtuous and what is malign. The Adeptus Ministorum prays and cares for the temples, and sends missions, such as my own, to every corner of the dominion of humanity. It fights against heresies. May the Emperor bless his faithful servants. You think that his mercy extends that far? I've seen many who wish to be our shepherds. Power clouds their vision, and their greedy hands scoop up all they can reach. The ecclesiarchy is long overdue for a cleansing. Many would consider your remarks about the ecclesiarchy to be heretical, and many others would find them truthful. I am a preacher of a radical teaching that renounces fear. I've left the bounds of the blessed Imperium to carry his light into the darkness of the frontier. I've come to know depravity firsthand, and am now able to perceive it under any guise. I think I can afford myself a modicum of truth. And who is the enemy of the Imperium? It has three faces: the inhuman xenos, who wish death upon us simply because they are unlike us. Yeah, and we certainly don't wish death on them simply because they're unlike us. How different. The pitiful subhuman mutants, abominations that wish death upon us because they envy us and are ashamed of themselves. And the archenemy that reigns in the Imperium, which wishes death upon us by its very nature. Tell me about Incendia Corda. Have you heard of Aspis Corda? Pirate, blasphemer, xenophile, and egregious apostate? Incendia is her heir, and a rarity among rogue traders. The protection of the Holy Warrant typically leads to the swift trophy of conscience and pious deeds, but not in Incendia's case. She relentlessly hunts down pirates and firebrands and brings rebelling colonies to repentance, establishing strict discipline. The weight of her wrath is great indeed. The colonies she punishes are girded with orbital rings of heretical corpses as a warning to the survivors. As her personal confessor and guide, I find no end to the joy her triumphs in faith bring me. Her intolerance is worthy of respect, since when is orchestrating massacres a sign of virtue? When it's needed. I mean, we ordered an exterminatus because people were starting to give over to heresy. Like, we have no room to talk on that one. I see, you have found yourself an excellent patroness, and now you are all too eager to spread the word of her piety. It seems to me, zealot, that it's the killings that bring you joy. No, her intolerance is worthy of respect. It's good that you realize this. It may be difficult to admit, but mercy is a weakness and a gateway for degradation. Thank you for your explanations. Think nothing of it, young Von Valencius. Tell me about yourself. Neither my past nor my present hold any secrets, but take heed when gazing into my heart, for many dark thoughts lurk within. What is troubling your heart? Bad omens. Dark times have come. Ships from the Imperium barely appeared in the Koronus Expanse anymore. In Footfall's shadow quarters, taint thrives, and the people here are corrupt enough to succumb to it gladly. Rumors around the Expanse say that the accursed xenos have grown bold and are rearing their heads. They attack ships and settlements, walk under the suns of Imperium worlds like kings instead of cowering in the shadows. What next? What adversities await us if such disgrace is happening already? He shakes his head sternly. And there's more and more talk of how poorly things are going in the Expanse. Some days it seems I can't take 2 steps without hearing some peasant pontificating on the matter. Even if it is as dire as they say, the Von Valencius realm will not crumble under the blows of fate, no matter how devastating. Chin up, Lord Captain. It is no time to lose heart and lament your loss. Lament your lot. Not only is your hope false, it is also dangerous. Among his servants there have been people of greater integrity who have sullied themselves in their attempt to rise above the rest. Tell me about the Drusians. We are a sanctioned imperial cult who honors Saint Drusus, scourge of the Bale Childer, bane of Xenos. Just as he once fearlessly ventured into the Calixtus sector and spearheaded its conquest, so do we travel to untamed reaches to expand the Imperium's borders. We are pilgrims and scouts who descend into the darkness of lawless sectors, and our eyes are inured to vice and filth. Just as Saint Drusus found his martyr's death and was reborn in faith, so do we search for the purifying power of trials and suffering. From the folds of his black robe, he produces this thin pamphlet. Read this. It contains the basics of our dogma. Perhaps you too will sense the truth in Saint Drusus' words. Oh, we can just read it right here. Middle of the conversation. This thin pamphlet exudes a faint caustic smell, likely that of fresh scriber ink. Our being is steeped in degradation, and no longer can we imagine existing outside it. Are you capable of perceiving the depths to which this heinous miasma has reared itself in our lives? Pompous aristocrats indulge in despicable revelries behind their tall palace walls, and planetary masters vie to possess the great luxuries, while you and your family choke on your corpses' starch slop after a grueling work shift. Millions of soldiers die in the dirt to combat xenoprofanity, while their commanders, their duties forgotten, squabble among themselves, seeing every death as nothing more than a stone in the monument of their own glory. Scholars pursue forbidden and mind-twisting knowledge. The righteous break their oaths and spread lies. Arbites, thieves, thieve worse than any criminal would. Arbites, thieve worse than any criminal would, and you are sullied by vicious degeneracy, of which you are not even aware. This pernicious rot is all-pervading, for there is none who has not succumbed to it. Does it frighten you to be in our midst? Will you carry on calmly, living in this impious loathsomeness, hiding your gaze from the world and hiding the world from your gaze? Will you become like a mindless servitor, or will you honestly realize the sheer baseness and repulsiveness of creation? And then you will renounce your former life. You will accept your new self and relinquish your worldly affairs, and follow the road that was paved for us by St. Drusus, warrior and conqueror of sectors uncharted. Leave behind a sacrilege-ridden world, and as it is our immortal emperor's will, join our sacred crusade to walk the path that leads out of the murk of apostasy and irreverence, and into the darkness of the unknown and unfathomed. It is in this darkness that we will light the candles of true faith, and only in their fires can we find motes of light. That was a lot. Who was St. Drusus? He was a great saint, irrepressible and decisive. Drusus served the emperor as a simple member of the guard, who fought in the glorious Angevin crusade and rose to the rank of general. It was a grueling conquest. The Imperium invaded the Calixtus sector, back then a savage expanse populated by xenos and heretics. Drusus delivered many defeats unto the enemies of humanity. He brought down the twisted kings on acreage, liberated the planet Drea from the unholy dark demons, and had many triumphs. But then they encountered a race of unholy xenos. Rivers of blood flowed. Golgena and Gavin died in his headquarters. The crusade was about to crumble, but then we received unexpected help from a foe. The xenos sent their assassins to the great Drusus, but the emperor's will shielded his servant from the attack. Slain but resurrected through a miracle, Drusus asserted himself as the head of the Gavin crusade, as its lord militant, and saw the xenos extermination through to the end. He brought the Calixtus sector to accord and was proclaimed a living saint. Funny, the story of St. Drusus is completely different. Huh. They have a different version of St. Drusus out here in Koronus than what we've heard elsewhere. I've heard accounts that Drusus wasn't a guardsman, but an aristocrat, and it was contenders for Golgena's position who made an attempt on his life, and he didn't rise from the dead. The assassins just decided not to kill him. Huh. This is from a successful lore Imperium, so this isn't us just trying to insult him or anything. This is just standard Imperial lore that says a completely different story than what this guy believes and preaches about St. Drusus. I'm gonna say it. I've heard accounts Drusus wasn't a guardman, but an aristocrat. That it was contenders for Golgena's position who made an attempt on his life. He didn't rise from the dead. The assassins just decided not to kill him. Koronus looks at you with a smirk. Well, of course you've heard that, but just consider for a moment whose words you are repeating right now. The one who put them into your head? Do they mean the Imperium? Well, think on it. I don't know who told us that, but apparently that's the standard story out in the Imperium. So why is your story so different? I don't know. Who were you in the past? A wretched fiend, blinded by my ambitions. I served in my home planet's Adeptus Administratum division. I was a shrewd and sly bureaucrat, and I soared to great heights, to the very chair of prefect. In 30 years, I turned my home from a withered fringe colony into a prosperous world. Our wealth grew as we bloomed. But the bloom was a veneer for rot. Opulence had depraved us, and luxury had seduced us with its sordid promises. The planet's denizens no longer wished to pray or work. They only sought entertainment and dangerous philosophies, 1,000 vile heresies, and 1,000,000 appalling vices bred on my world like mold on a Nutribar. In those days, I saw my own eyes, the shameless ugliness of the soul. I repented of my hubris, left the position of prefect, and became a traveling missionary. I have been one ever since. As for my world, 20 years later, the Holy Inquisition consigned it to purifying flames. Well, then it's a good thing you got out when you did. The Inquisition consigned it to purifying flames. They actually did exterminatus on your home world. You must have gotten really bad. Exterminatus is not done often. The Emperor is merciful for allowing you a chance of redemption. Ah, so now that you are sated with baseness, you think you can lecture people. No, the Emperor is merciful in allowing you a chance at redemption. Who said that I'd redeem myself? I doomed an entire planet to degeneracy. You think there's a decade or two of wandering with a mission is enough to atone for that? No. I'm a poor excuse for a shepherd in his eyes. Your words about the past are drowned in murky hues of sickly green, and your talk of the present falls in gray flakes of ash upon the shoulders of your listener. Sorrow truly weighs heavily on you, Reverend Hieronymus, and that is why the fire in your words is devoid of golden radiance. The faded flickers of teachings leave nothing but black soot on their souls. I have no more questions. I'm surprised that you had any to begin with. Yeah, a lot of that is things that we should have known, but I wanted to get his explanation. I'd like to look at what the followers of St. Drusus have to offer me. Let me see. So he is a new trading partner. So if we can get his relationship up, we can buy some good stuff. How high do you go? Up to 15. Probably not going to go that far. He wants holy gifts most of all. I wish this would just sort by the things they want most. Yeah. So holy gifts, we've got 1 crate of that. Then he wants jewelry. We've got 3 crates of that, which will get us up to 1,400. So we'll just start with trading that. Where does that get us to? Nowhere near. We need to get him all the way up to 5,000 just to get rank 1. Yikes. If we look at ship's components, yeah, even that we don't have a ton. Then we start getting into things that just aren't very valuable to him. Things we have a ton of. Ranged weapons. He won't even take. Mechanicus creations. We've got lots of armor kits and fuel. What are those worth? 150 and 100. Melee weapons, 100. Miscellaneous is down at 50. Ugh. Provisions, it's still only 100. Uniform kit, that's 150. Let's give him the uniform kits and the armor kits, because those are at least still worthwhile to him. Even then, we're not even getting close to that 5,000. It's going to take a while before we rank up with him. But as it is, we can get your med kits. Forcer helmet. All targets of taunting scream, which we don't have, suffer a -12 penalty to their willpower test against this ability. Sounds like that's probably a telepathic skill, I would guess. And we don't have a telepath besides Adira that we never take out with us. Onslaught. Instantly increase the movement points by 6 and grant 2 charges of the slash ability. Yet reduce weapon skill, ballistic skill, and perception by -15 until the start of the user's next turn. Huh. So it's a drug that makes you move farther, attack quicker, but less accurate. Might as well grab it. Imperial Scroll. This scroll grants the owner a +15 bonus to lore Imperium. Definitely grab that. And then the Bloodhound Staff. Yeah, we don't care about the Enforcer Helmet. What are you? only can be wielded by a navigator. Well, we do have one of those. Devastating 6. The first use of an attacking navigator power per turn does not set the power on cooldown and does not count towards the attack limit per turn. The second use of this power, or the use of a different attacking navigator power on the same turn, deals an additional +6 damage to all targets, +6 direct damage to the navigator. Oh. I like the 6 damage to all targets, and a second use of the power. 6 direct damage to the navigator, but I guess that's fine. She's got lots of abilities that heal herself. And then also boost willpower and perception. I think that's probably better than what she has, so we'll grab that. Thank you for your time, Hieronymus. If we go to Cassia, and we compare this, same damage, just for striking with it, which we're never going to do. So, castigating. Enemies targeted by the navigator power suffer -5 penalty to their characteristics until the end of the navigator's next turn. This penalty stacks and is prolonged each until the navigator's next turn, every time it stacks. I think damage is better than penalizing their characteristics. A -5 isn't amazing. If it was -10, then it would be more likely to affect enemy bonuses. So yeah, we'll give her that. I think that'll be good. And then we got the bonus 15 to Lore Imperium, and that's a ring slot item. Our Lore Imperium is Argenta at this point, so let's give that to her. So now she's at 60. Nothing else I particularly care about of what we got.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Alright, let's keep looking around. We've gone through most of the area. So I know we left some stuff behind, because we mainly just got the edges. Can we go down here? We can. Okay, what's down here then? Nothing is down here. Why did they allow me to go here?
Victory awaits.
Citizens, servitors, etc. Oh, this is where we started. Yeah, okay. So we finally loop back to where we started. If we go straight this way, then that takes us here where we've already been. Okay. Maybe we have seen everything at this point. Climbed up there, I believe. Did we? Can't be certain. Yes, we jumped across there, checked out that dead body, so we've been up here. Herald. And this is the Liege's Palace. I think we have in fact seen everything here. There's Hieronymus, Doloroso, that's the Liege's Palace, that's where we came from. I think we've explored it all. Okay, with that in mind, I think this is a good place to stop. Next time we will check out the Liege's Palace and see where that takes us. We're ending a touch early, but I think that's fine. I am kind of losing my voice. So, we'll end it here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.